Good afternoon, Gooners. Welcome to In the North Bank. This is the afterthought and dealing with the aftermath of the last few days. I'm still trying to deal with the very late into Thursday after the trip to Anfield. I think I rolled in my house at about 10 to 4 in the morning, and after dropping off some friends after the game, I finally managed to find my way back to my bed. But man, I could not be so proud of those guys in blue on Thursday. Brilliant to see how it was, and yeah, just could not believe how well they played as a whole, and it's something that we've missed for a good while, and it was relentless in the way that they were working for each other, they were fighting for each other, and as I say, it's just really good to see, especially going to a place like Anfield, where the touch paper can get lit, and all of a sudden the atmosphere explodes. And to be fair, we kept them quiet, and although it was a semi-final and you're suddenly thinking that Anfield is going to be a cauldron, Anfield's going to be that famous atmosphere, just nothing. And to see that stand full up of Gooners, and the singing throughout non-stop was just brilliant, and yeah, absolute gems, all of them. Just the way we carried on, and again, it was fitting that we supported Arsenal with them providing the performance that they did, what they needed to do, and yeah, as I say, we take it back to Thursday at the Emirates, 0-0, and totally in it. But yeah, the game itself, we've had so many issues recently. But it kind of started just before the FA Cup. Obviously, we know that we're going to be short on players, and yeah, we can talk about players going on loan and yeah, a lot of the African nations, but yeah, we understand we need to get players in and we need to add players, but again, it's not as simple as just putting these players out, because they've got to go through certain kind of things with COVID and stuff. So yeah, fitness tests and doing the medicals and stuff are troublesome, I imagine. Certainly at this time. Obviously, it's eased a lot more than it had, but you've still got self-isolation in certain places. So yeah, it's going to take time for players to come in. I think we're trying to get some emergency players coming in, but doesn't help in the at this moment. And you go into this game thinking that we've got X player coming in, playing, and then in the morning of the game find out that he's tested positive for COVID. But yeah, we've been picking up niggling injuries. We've got Smith Rowe, that again wasn't ready to play, and yeah, it wasn't able to get over. And because I think that game would have been probably a good one for him, bearing in mind he hasn't played for a while. He's been playing as a substitute, coming on. He's done well, but just little niggles like what we've had, Tomiyasu as well, and these little players that they're almost there, but they're not quite there, and it was one of those you could have risked maybe one of them against Forest, but obviously Arteta didn't believe that he could do it, and when he didn't do it for the Forest game, I thought maybe that's because he's going to be looking to save them for this game at Anfield, and it turned out that they're still not ready on that side. So you're thinking they are a little bit short, and yeah, I think they're penciled in for the second leg on Thursday. We should obviously have Odegaard back as well. He should be finished with his self-isolation and stuff, and should be negative if that's all good. But yeah, it wasn't great preparation for Arteta. So not only has it been a little bit wonky with the squad and trying to get a system working out who we've got to play, it always seems like there's someone not been able to play and whatever through whatever COVID or illness or going away. So he's had a lot of issues that he's had to deal with, and yeah, we put the line up. I'll just get it up on here now, and yeah, we look at Ramsdale coming in. It was a big, well, I'd say a big surprise, but it isn't a big surprise because it's a semi-final, and I think he needs a goalkeeper that he can really depend on, certainly when we're playing the ball out. Again, if we're going to try and get past Liverpool, we've got to try and entice them on and be able to play through them. And Ramsdale gives the more confident approach to doing that. And whilst Leno played well against Forest, he does what he does best. Then they're the shot stopping, and the diving, and making those saves that look really, really spectacular. And some of them are. He is a very good goalkeeper, but just that one little thing that he lacks is just that ability to play with his feet and play with confidence. So yeah, I saw him coming in. Ramsdale obviously had a really good performance against Liverpool when we played him earlier in the season. So yeah, he comes in. White and Gabriel come back after his sending off against City. Kieran Tierney continued again. So that was good to see. And then Cedric come in again. Obviously played against Forest, but yeah, with no Tomiyasu. Yeah, no real other choices apart from Chambers. And then Xhaka come in alongside Lokonga. Xhaka had obviously just come back. He just come back really straight from COVID, straight into the team. So apparently he hadn't actually trained. So we have to see. How he go in that game. But as we know, it was a short game for Xhaka, which we'll go into. Saka again. I wanted him to have a break because he's played so much football, and as the game wore on, you saw what it was like. But Lacazette and Martinelli alongside Nketiah. So Nketiah up top and Lacazette just playing behind, and Martinelli just on the left hand side. So yeah, sub bench. All we have is defenders. You look at that, and then you're chucking in youngsters there, and there isn't a lot there to really change things up. But as the game wore on, that first 10 minutes, I was watching and I was praying that we were going to be resolute and we were going to be digging in and really getting amongst them. And we were getting in and amongst them. Trouble is, we about 2 minutes into the game, we worked the ball out wide, and then Cedric goes up for a challenge and comes down, lands awkwardly, has a little stretch, and then 11 minutes into the game, he goes off injured. So he's hurt his hip. So yeah, it was just another real bad moment for Arteta, where he's now had to then bring on Chambers to replace Cedric, and it showed then in the next 10 minutes when he come on, Chambers, and he was getting pulled around, and yeah, you just saw him kind of just almost struggling with the pace, and when he then had 2-on-1 as well, it was a little bit awkward. But credit due, when he did come on, he did really do well as a player, and then 24 minutes was the big one, and yeah, I take a lot of stick from a few guys, probably watching along somewhere and listening in, how I kind of stick up a little bit for Xhaka. Yeah, this one, as much as he's unlucky on how it transpired, come from probably our best move at that time, where Tavares had played a ball through into Saka, who then ran through into the box, just played the ball across the box, and it went through Lacazette's legs or Nketiah's legs, and then the ball gets picked up, played outside their box. Straight away, you see our left back Tierney flying in to try and win the ball back, nowhere near affecting the play. Ball gets moved on again. In comes our centre back, midway into their half, tried to win the ball back. Nowhere near the ball. The ball gets played on again, and he plays to Robertson. Robertson then plays a ball over, and Xhaka's still running with Jota, but Xhaka was also alongside Gabriel. And when I go back to that kind of being resolute, being organised, remember, we have to be in with a shout for that second leg. We can't be silly, we can't be too open, we can't be too cavalier and go for it, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves 2-3 goals down. And by having a left back and a central defender trying to press high up the pitch means that there's loads of spaces behind. And obviously they've played it over. Xhaka's having to trace, but I would probably still say I'd probably prefer a Tierney there, or a Gabriel alongside White, to be able to kind of actually provide some cover. There's enough players in front of them to actually go and press the ball, but we've done that. We got caught short, and there was a couple of times where they've played that ball over, and we should know about that, because we know Van Dijk can play a pass over. He does it week in, week out, and yeah, we got caught with that one. And he can see, he can look back. He can't see Jota. He probably knows where he is, obviously, but his eyes are not directly on where he is. He knows he's around. He's watching the ball coming over. He's looking to try and win the race. But then, when he is glancing back, he's seeing Ramsdale, who's hit the edge of the area. Then he gives another little glance, and Ramsdale's then suddenly backed off a little bit. So you're suddenly thinking that thought process from what Xhaka was going to do at the start to then how it transpired would have clouded over a bit. And he's had to make that kind of decision where he's just had to say, right, I'm going to have to go for it. And he's tried to win the ball, and he's late on there, and he's caught the guy. But he's the last man. It is a red card. It is an error in judgment. But again, I just look at it. If we're organised, if we're together, and we played almost with that same kind of belief and that same kind of grit and determination to make sure we're organised from minute one, we'd have been playing Liverpool with 11v11, and just hold on a second. I think I've lost my camera. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so I think it's another rung on the Xhaka block card. We know it happens, but as I say, there is another reason on there. It isn't just a Xhaka explosion. It isn't that. There were little things around there. That was the only real reservation I had about the start of that game, and we just looked a bit open to me. And again, if Xhaka stays on his feet, he doesn't engage in him, then what happens? Jota goes through, scores. What happens if he scores then? Does that mean people will then suddenly blame, well, Xhaka hasn't made a tackle? And you look at it like that. If it goes 1-0, then the game is totally different anyway. I'm talking atmosphere, everything. The stadium's going to go mental, and that's what it was crying out for. But being 0-0, it meant it was a real quiet, dull atmosphere. And the only bright part of that atmosphere was the Gooners all in the stand. And from that moment when he was sent off, and then you saw Holding come on, Nketiah, I like to have seen him had a bit more of a run, because his pace was a bit terrifying, and he was getting close to with the players with the press. So it had to be done, and I think when we talk about man of the matches, and you're suddenly saying who were the contenders, and I'm suddenly thinking he gets a lot of stick, but Mikel Arteta played the absolute game of his life. In all honesty, I think the decisions he made to get the system in place to how we needed to be at that moment, I say, even pre-game, he had so many kind of things that he's had to deal with and get through, and he's then had to then come up with this change of system again when Xhaka's not here, and we did it. And Holding come in, he played in a free. I predicted we were going to play in a free before the game. I would like to have seen us go to a free at the back to be a bit more solid, but Holding come in between them, and he played really well, so that was pleasing to see. So I think it was good. We knew we were going to be under pressure, certainly in that first 15 minutes after Xhaka had gone, because they sensed that there was blood, and we kept going, and we were getting blocks in and around the box, and it was just really pleasing to see that players were getting involved, getting stuck in, getting in front of the ball. So whenever that ball was ready to be kind of hit or played a pass through, we were getting stuck in and getting in between the ball and our goal. Second half, again, we knew that was going to be the way that Arteta would have been able to get more instructions into the team, because it's all else trying to get the information onto the pitch at that time in the first half, get the guys in, settle them down, calm them down, and then we can see how the game transpires. And we did actually create a couple of chances, and as the game wore on, and you're suddenly thinking, the system we played was certainly more based on counter-attack, and it was just real pleasing to see. And then when you saw Kieran Tierney come popping up with a cross after a little counter-attack, and he crosses the ball in to Saka, and he has a little bobbly touch, and it goes towards Alisson, and he comes through, he tries to flick it in, and it gets nowhere. And he had a couple where the keeper saved, but one of those goes in, my word, that stadium would have emptied a lot sooner. But we'd done really well in that game, and we take it back to the Emirates 0-0. clean slate, and we go from there. But yeah, I'm happy. Just very, very tired, and I'm looking forward to heading off to the stadium on Thursday. But let's just pause for a moment and we're about to go on to a couple of other segments with some latest news that we've had today, and I'll come back soon. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. I just had an impromptu phone call. So yeah, so I think as a whole the game really, really good, and yeah, it gives us something to go on, and we know that we need to have a big performance. So can we capitalise on the second leg at the Emirates? I don't see no reason why not. I'll say that we should have players back. Obviously, breaking news in the last hour and a half, 2 hours, is that the game has been officially postponed. Arsenal-Tottenham. So, whilst, yeah, I'm massively disappointed. I'm disappointed that we couldn't go to White Hart Lane, even with a weakened team, and having the chance to maybe just actually shut them up a little bit. I don't know. All I've been hearing is Tottenham fans saying, you're wimping out, you're scared, you're blah, you're this, you're that, and it's like, I'm sorry Tottenham, you had a 2-week break, you've had your full kind of like a winter break, so I'd have loved us to have rocked up there with maybe say like a team that was, yeah, lower numbers and not expected to go and win, and then wanted to see the reaction of Tottenham when we go and beat them 3-1 with a team like that, and you're suddenly thinking, yeah, it would have been nice to have done. It'd obviously been a very tough game. The North London derbies aren't the places to be blooding 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds, but let's get a little bit of reality check here with how the game was called off. And I keep hearing, and it was really annoying to hear, like two rats that have come out again, and they've just come out and started moaning, and Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, and you just really hate these clowns, and you just want